Well, guys, we got to start talking about this rule. Oh my God, I almost called it rule breakers. Remember rule breakers? This Unbreakables promo that is coming out in just a couple of days here. Let's talk about it because the full team has been leaked today with all the official stats and stuff, and it looks kind of interesting, the team selection that is, but honestly, there's no hype for it at all. And we'll talk about why that is and some of the things with this promo we can kind of tell, I think, what EA's doing, and I don't know. We got to just talk about it when we get there. Let me know if you guys are having this promo fatigue right now that I keep seeing all over Twitter, all over Reddit, just pure like kind of indifference towards these new promos. We've got, unfortunately, an SBC that is not coming out anymore that we thought would, that I personally was very hyped up for. If that gives you any hint as to what this was, if you've been watching the channel for the last like week or so. Unfortunately, we have a couple of SBCs that are not coming out anymore. At least that's the rumor. FUTMAS Jesus PTSD, like the title says, except not quite to that level, of course. And yeah, just more general talk about this game right now. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to mmoxp.com. There will be a link in the top of the description. They're the safest and the cheapest option, and you can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. I do want to announce, though, we talked about this in yesterday's video at the very end. If you were watching till the very end, we will be back streaming this Friday. It's our first day back, so that's going to be awesome. Live on YouTube and Twitch for whatever this promo was going to be. We'll be there looking at it live at content time. But yes, thank you all for watching, being here, liking the video, subscribing, and all that good shit. And I forgot to mention too, there's a pretty big Icon SBC leak as well that I was going to title this video as that today, actually. So I probably should have remembered that, but we'll talk about that too when we get there. And I also want to say too, depending on tomorrow's news that we get, if it's not a very big or important news day, I think I might make a little bit of a different video tomorrow that's more heavier edited, like commentary channel type video regarding some of the let's just say promises that were made this year. I want to highlight a couple of those things and just how egregious some of these promises were prior to release this year. So that video might be there tomorrow. If it's a heavier news day, it'll be like maybe the next day or the day after that, but it's going to be possibly tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that because it might be a slightly different thumbnail as well, in case you guys are like, what the fuck is that? Am I recommended? Actually me. But anyway, FUTMAS Jesus PTSD, I think, is going to be, because of this SBC right here, we've got a trio of players that looks like is not coming out, and we'll show you those right now as we get to our leaks and news. We've got this right here. So as we know, we've been waiting for a couple of SBCs here, one of them being Rose Lavelle. We've got Jay-Z. I think you actually pronounce her name Jace, I want to say, I think is what some people said in the comments. And then down here as well is this Shaw card. So we had 3 New York players, and these were just concepts here. These were not actually their official stats. Lavelle had Tiki Taka Plus, I think, and Jace had something else. But looks like now these 3 are probably not coming out. We have this tweet here from Mohaps, who's very reliable, saying someone joins the club, and it's just a picture of FUTMAS Jesus, right? And then Fut Yapper replies and says, seems like Lavelle is no longer coming as an SBC. I hope it's wrong, as I really wanted to use her, but it does feel like that's going to be the case here because of the 3 Man City cards that came out, right? The Layla Wahhabi, Hasagawa, and the Caroline Nicoli trio there that came out. And we can actually start segueing into the next segment here, which is going to be talking about this Unbreakables promo. We have the full team leaked for it here with all the official stats and stuff. We'll look at that in one sec. But segueing into that, we got the SOD SBC today, right? And the thing that sucks about a lot of this promo stuff right now is that when you drop an SBC like SOD, who doesn't look bad at all, by the way, finesse plus, 88 pace, 90 dribbling, tiki-taka base play style with trickster base is great, rapid, technical there. It's a nice card, but the sad part is on the market, you know he's 11,500 coins. Whatever his discard price is, you know that that's what he is. And you'll be able to get cards for a long, long time that have very similar stats to this for 10k on the market. So that's where this problem comes in, is like, how do you prevent the indifference towards daily SBCs like this? Because we know certain factors like, yeah, well, this card is 50k. It was like 60k at release. There's really not a point in doing it unless you're an Augsburg or you know, SOD fan, you know, which you need content for everybody. But how do you prevent promo fatigue and SBC fatigue over the course of an entire year? That is very challenging, and they're trying to do that with Gauntlet and stuff. But as of right now, I think it's safe to say it's not really done too much. And what do you guys think is like the reason for that? You know, are there things that we've not really talked about on this channel that contributes to that? I think a big part of that for me, yes, is the general enjoyment of gameplay. That plays a really big part in this. And also, if you took a shot every time I said this in daily videos, you would be dead at 35. It's no menu grind. I think no menu grind or a really shitty one and a lazy one and a dumb one plays a part in this too, that you don't care. But I know it's a lot deeper than that, and it's just like, maybe it is just straight up fatigue, right? But here's the Unbreakables team. We'll look through it right here. And a lot of the players in here have Tiki-Taka plus or Low Driven plus, which is very interesting. This whole team is just meta playstyle pluses. Like, you look through the whole thing here and you almost won't find a bad one. And we've actually got a little bit more interesting selections for some players here that we'll look at too. So, okay, Mo Salah begins. Okay, sure, he looks great. Obviously, kind of funny he's in this promo considering everything around Mo Salah right now. Zanetti in there, Tiki-Taka plus, sure. Alan Shearer, Low Driven plus. We won't read through everybody's, but Vidic has Intercept plus there. Really meta center back. Saka, pretty big upgrade there with Tech plus on him. Raquelme with Incisive. Sadio Mane's down there with Low Driven. Henrik Larsson, Quick Step plus, pretty cool card. Modric and Williams there with Tiki-Taka 2. Swanson, Robert Pires' Finesse Shot. And down here some cool cards too. You got Santi Cazorla looking good with Tiki-Taka plus as well. Messias, I apologize. First Touch plus and kind of a cooler, not usually seen player getting a somewhat solid card there. So that's cool. Kanu, Joelinton, Inaki Williams. If you guys don't know the theme of this promo, I believe the theme is like players who have come back from something, whether it be injuries or being away from football for a while, things like that. You know, you got Christian Eriksen in here, right? Santi Cazorla obviously had his, you know, horrible injury that he had. Joelinton was written off at Newcastle. You know, they have like this sort of theme around that. I think that's the theme here. Luis Diaz is in there too, by the way. Katarina Macario. You know, who else is interesting in here? Kamavinga, it does make it in. Left back Kamavinga, Intercept plus. And, you know, there are some really nice cards in here. And a lot of these playstyle pluses, besides a couple here on the bottom row where it's like Jimenez, right, with precision header. Brooks has whip pass plus, but up here, I mean, it is like all top tier meta. It's Low Driven plus on like 8 cards, Quick Step plus, Tiki-Taka plus, Finesse plus. I mean, the list goes on and on of just pure meta playstyle pluses. And also the player promo selection for EA standards is pretty diverse, all things considered, especially the icons. There's no like top of the line icon. Like Alan Shearer is one of the better icons in this promo. They could have made his card a little bit better, by the way. I don't know why they do that. Just give Shearer, like, why not for one FIFA make Shearer like a top 3 striker in the game? Just because, like, just juice the shit out of that card. Even if he's like 3 mil and none of us can afford it, it makes things kind of interesting. Like, you don't see that really very often. But instead, you got to make him 85 dribbling because I don't know. I don't know why. The best players always have to be the same fucking best players. But anyway, I think what's funny here is that I bet this promo flops, right? I think this promo, if I had to guess, is going to be kind of flop-ish. No one's going to care about it. And let me know if you guys think there's an element of truth in this at all. But it makes me wonder if they're giving out like such meta playstyle pluses for all of these cards. If that's sort of like a compromise to try and help a little bit with the drop back that we have right now, because EA does not want to fix that. Like, we know they don't want to do that. They want this game to be more on the defensive AI side, and maybe they view as like, hey, more cards with Tiki-Taka plus, more cards with Low Driven plus and Quick Step plus and Finesse plus helps with that a little bit. I don't know. I'm just trying to kind of come up with ideas as to why all these playstyle pluses are so good, because this is like, really, you don't see this. Besides maybe Team of the Year, times when you'll see a promo have all meta playstyle pluses, like maybe like a big winter wildcards team. But even then, I don't think that really happens that way. Just trying to kind of read what they're doing here. But I don't really know. I think one of the biggest things, it's just, how does EA prevent promo fatigue? I have ideas, but clearly I think EA doesn't really know what to do with that. Here's an icon pick SBC, by the way. Garincha and Dalglish are coming out as a match day pick, and I think this just barely trumps the Cafu Carlos Alberto. Actually, that might not be true, because both these guys are around the 800 850 range. Now 750 for Garincha here. I think Cafu was like 1 million coins, I believe. I think Cafu was right around 1 mil, so I think actually it's not quite bigger than that, but it is pretty close. And I do think one of the best things this year has been these match day picks, because more icons have come out in a little bit more of a time when they're in the power curve more, right? Because if you had Vidic in your team, you probably used Vidic for some time now, and you've probably been using Cafu and Carlos Alberto for the last, whatever, week and a half or so, and they'll be in your team, so probably for a month or so again. So shitting on them for the entire video so far, I do think this is one of the better things that they've done this year. But also, what's kind of funny is that's one thing we used to have. We used to have icon SBCs come out and be, for sure in the power curve. Like, we used to have icon SBCs drop and they would be like top end stuff, and they stopped being that way for a couple of years, and now they come back to even a little bit of a resemblance of that old system in like 19 and 20, and everyone likes that. that? Well, who would have guessed? They love taking shit away that we like a lot, and they bring it back, and it's like, hey, that's pretty nice. And like, yeah, who would have guessed? You know, I think they just overcomplicate things sometimes so much, and sometimes we don't know what we want either. We play a part in that, but I think sometimes it's very overcomplicated. Here's team of the week, by the way. Messi's in there. Incisive pass plus for Messi's pretty interesting. Harry Kane makes it in with finesse plus. Victor Osimhen does not get a play style plus, unfortunately, though, which is kind of a shame there. Who else is in here? We got Rasmus Højlund in there. Technical plus Smith is interesting. Mayulu, Buendia makes it in, and not really much that's interesting down in like the fodder-ish areas down there. But yeah, Messi being in here with incisive plus is pretty interesting, and outside of that, there isn't a whole lot really going on with team of the week. But Donk does say down here, after this winter promo, which is bomb emoji with the hourglass emoji. Okay, you know, we'll see. And as you can imagine, our first SBC leak for Unbreakables is Sebastian Haller, who, by the way, you know, the theme around this promo being like players who overcame adversity. Haller had cancer, so he obviously deserves to be in the promo and deserves to be an SBC in this promo. Just people won't really like think about it in that way. They'll just see this and kind of go like, promo fatigue, and they're not really going to care. But that's obviously an awesome story. We do actually have the official card designs here for them. It looks like this for Saka's card, and this is actually not Saka's actual card, but that's the design there for the regular one, and then the icon design is right here. I think that's what we saw on the other graphic, but in case it wasn't, that's what it looks like. I don't know why, but this graphic kind of surprised me here. The 5 most used icons in FC26, according to either FUTBin or FUTGG or whatever has the data here. I was really surprised to see Pichon be 3rd. I was like, I feel like I never see her card or play against her, but she's 3rd on the games list, which kind of caught me off guard. And then Cha as well was always a little bit more expensive, and he's 2nd. I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. I didn't expect to see those 2 in here. Maybe Cha towards the end, but I feel like I never play against that Pichon card. I did want to mention this as well in this video. I saw this tweet from FTD here. It says, who would you choose? Number 1 being a 99 pace, 99 shooting, 99 passing, 99 dribbling Messi. However, he has 3-star, 3-star, power shot plus, and he's got dead ball, game changer, acrobat, chip shot, inventive, first touch, press proven, and whipped pass, which there are some interesting ones in here like first touch and game changer, but for the most part, yeah, not that great. But then Messi over here, it's just like the standard maybe promo Messi card with 82 pace, finesse shot plus, 4-4, and he's got rapid, tiki-taka, trickster, low driven, incisive, and dead ball. And the thing with this is, honestly, I still would, I mean, looking at this again, I don't actually know which one I would choose. My gut instinct is still like, yeah, choose number 1, because of course, but at the same time, using a card with no tiki-taka, no finesse or low driven, like that would be tough. I will say what would swing this completely for me is if first touch was gone and moved to this one, I'm taking this one all day. But first touch here is very important to me personally. I think no first touch for this card kind of sucks. But the fact that this is a debate is hilarious, right? This is why EA has this problem right now, that the more honestly I see this type of thing, I kind of start to get radicalized towards take out play styles, because it's kind of insane. They could just make them not as important, and they try to do that this year, and I still actually do think they are not as important as last year, but they're still like almost everything. I still think I would lean towards number 1 here, but honestly, toss it up. I don't know, because yeah, this number 1 might kind of suck without certain things. Actually, in fact, I know it's not going to feel like 99 pace because he has no rapid or quick step. There will be a lot of cards who will feel faster than Messi. There will be cards who will have better dribbling than Messi, even though he's got 99. He has unique animation, so that plays a little part in this too. But the 99 passing might as well not be 99 passing because he doesn't have tiki-taka, incisive, or ping, so that might as well not even be that. 99 shooting will help with circle shots, of course, because he'll have 99 shot power probably too, but then no finesse, no low driven. So honestly, I still think I would lean towards number 1, but if you chose number 2, I think you might be smarter than me. Honestly, you just might be smarter than me. But okay, with the market right now, let's talk about this new Icon SBC coming out, this Garincha and Dalglish. So the trends with these this year have been like over the top, easy to make coins on, because let's go take a look at Carlos Alberto here. So when he got leaked, which was, I don't know, probably a couple days or probably 3 days before he came out, I want to say. Yeah, I just looked it up. This SBC dropped November 29th, which is right here, right? So the trend, as you can see, prior to him being leaked, he's 1.2 mil into 1.1 up to 1.3, kind of your standard fluctuation there. Then gets leaked, he goes down to 1.1 841, then to 877 and 844. All right, so big time drop when he actually gets leaked. Then goes back up a little bit as we wait to see when he comes out. And he comes out on the 29th, boom, back down to 899 here. And he actually was down at like 830, almost 800K that day, if I remember correctly. He was way down there. And then just ever since that day, even though he was great value, right? We're talking, I think he was 700K when he came out. I think they're now like 650, that whole icon SBC. This card is still going up. He's maintaining above 1 million coins still. And that day he came out, when he was still great value, you could have bought him at 800K or so, maybe say 825. And he was up at 1.1 a few days ago. So you see huge panic selling all the time on these icons that are very, very good still. And there's so many squads that people don't really want to like go out and do all that stuff. They'd rather just buy the card if they have the coins. Garincha, 766. What was he going for? About 880, 870 before he was leaked today. He was already down at 717 right here as one of the sales right after he got leaked. And he's already bounced back up to 760 right now. This is going to happen again when he actually comes out. I'm assuming that Garincha and Dalglish will be around the 600K mark, something like that. Pretty much every icon SBC has been lower than the actual market price. So he's going to come out. He'll be sold again a lot because people will sell him to do the icon SBC. And then he'll just rise back up again. Now, I think you got to do it pretty quickly because we have the winter wildcard selling coming. There should be a couple days gap where you can still sell at a profit. So just beware of this trend here. And this is not actually for just as SBC. It goes for any icon that comes out. And no matter how expensive, they always go down the day they come out and they go back up over time. So just a little investment tip there. And I want to remind you guys, 86 overall players right now. If you want to EVO one of them, you got to go out and buy them. Oops, I'm on trending cards here. Let's go to all players. If you see an 86 that you eventually want to EVO someday, you gotta go and buy them now. It's gonna be a matter of time that these come out. I don't know what position it's gonna be. We have no idea, but there's gonna be one that's crazy. And if you have an 86 in there that you're gonna want to use in that, you better buy them now, because if you wait to buy until the EVO actually comes out, it's far too late. So I would just look now and go club stock a couple of those guys that you want. And okay, let's read some of your comments now. We got JT here. I like the fact that there's play styles. Usually I can never get together a good team that can compete against icons in previous years, but now I can get a player like Pina or Wilson for 10K and compete. So there's a couple things with that. Number one is that I do agree that yes, competing with gold players, like gold players being better, because they are better this year than they have been in some previous years. I think that's a good thing. Having good golds like Sophia Wilson, where she'll be able to compete and like be a good player for a lot longer in this year's game compared to the last couple, I want to say for sure, at least. And since maybe like 23, 22, like those years, you could not use anybody who was like a gold for very long. EA really nerfs the shit out of those cards. But this year it is a little bit better. I do appreciate that. But I think the play styles don't really need to play a part in this. I think you can totally get rid of play styles and have this same thing. Like you don't need that to be in there. I think EA can keep play styles and have the gameplay be okay. I mean, I think that that is possible. It's just they don't know how to balance it, because how do you add play styles to the game and then have them be sort of a bonus but not necessary? Because then what's the point in them? If you're EA, you'd say, yeah, what's the point in having this feature if they're not super necessary and they're just bonuses and they're not like really that necessary? Then there's no point in having them, which is okay. But I think it's possible to have good gameplay with them. I just think it's so difficult and unlikely that there's no point in doing it. But I do actually, unpopular opinion, like having a gold card like Pina being as good as some of these icons is actually not a bad thing. Like people can just afford a great card, which we haven't had that for a long time. And a gold card is like this good, which I think is kind of cool. But at the same time, I think you can have that same thing without playstyle. So you don't really need that aspect to that. And we got Stargazer here who says, I have the Cornerstone version, talking about Claudia Pina. I want to play my own way. I really do. But the only way to compete at a fair level is to join all this meta crap. I tried playing high wingers, but these defensive formations turned my team into a bunch of non-responsive dimwits. And the sad thing is that a lot of the times, these different types of tactics, those roles don't really work very well. And that's why we saw things like inside forward getting fixed, right? Because inside forward's most popular and most used role. So EA will take priority on that one compared to like, hey, my wide playmaker, for example, or some other random role that people don't really use, but you want to use, doesn't do anything. Well, they're not going to fix that. No, they're not going to care about fixing the wide playmaker role because people don't run that role. But then that's the problem with this whole thing, is it's supposed to add more variety, and instead said, it's really not added more variety at all. It can add more variety to a team. If you want to like take full advantage of the whole system, you can have more variety, but the problem is half of it doesn't work as intended. Like, you can't go out and run an attacking wingback right now. Like, you pretty much can't. It's still broken. It's better than it was, but it's still broken. And it's like, okay, well, that's a very attacking style of gameplay that some people want to play and they just can't play it. Like, you're forced into defensive play styles almost because that's what works. And that, like, that's the biggest issue right now, is that this could work. Like, the FC Pro, or not FC Pro, sorry. What the hell is the tactic system called? I don't even know what the fuck it's called. Like, what? I forgot what it's called. The new tactic system can work, but it takes a lot of work for it to work. It's too much work. EA doesn't have the resources to do it. They're not capable enough to do it. One of the two. Therefore, you might as well go back because you literally can't make it work. So, you know, we're already past the point now of it being in the game and staying in the game. FCIQ, yeah, that's what it is. I don't think it's ever leaving. Honestly, I think we're stuck with it, and until EA can fix it, I don't know. We're stuck, and hopefully one day they can change it. Otherwise, you are fucked. We're all fucked. And Jeezy says here, why won't you tell us you say at your outro? It's been 2 years and counting. I mean, honestly, it's really not that hard to understand. If you have been around for a while, you probably know what it says. But yeah,